July 7th, 2015, called meeting to order. Everyone had a chance to look over the agenda.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
The executive session.
All those in favor?
Easy, go to executive session. Correct, pull up that.
All right. Mr. Johnson, would you give us the invocation, please?
Sure. Father God in heaven, thank you for another day we've never seen before. Bless each and every one and their family. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I would ask that we move to an executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action, or dismissal, or periodic evaluation of a public officer or employee, and also to discuss negotiations to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, authorize ordering of an appraisal related to the acquisition or disposal of real estate, to discuss real estate. That's what we need to go to executive session.
Motion to move to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
All right, need a motion to exit executive session, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We're now out of executive session.
Madam Chair, I would ask you to amend the agenda to, and add a number 9, motion to give the Industrial Development Authority an option to market the Broxton property to create jobs for Coffee County. And we'll move number 9, which was adjourned, to 10.
I move we amend the agenda to include the optioning to the Economic Development Authority for the land originally purchased for Broxton School.
Second.
All those in favor?
I would ask the board to approve the personnel as presented.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? You're good.
And then the board, does the board have to approve the motion, or y'all did that in the?
Yeah.
All right. The telemedicine MOU, we have a document that has to be approved annually to continue the partnership with the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. Our legal counsel has reviewed this document, and we're asking the board to approve this partnership.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh, question. Part of this agreement, we required, I noticed we did have a end of a grant funding for a position for a coordinator for that. Is that something we need to fund?
We
Part of this
have
agreement?
been discussing this with our nurse. We were going to try to manage it internally with existing staff and not replace the position that was grant funded.
Is that something they feel confident that they can manage? Is that?
To be honest, I think there's concern that it will be a challenge and that it will be difficult to manage, but we've challenged that department like many of our other departments to get by during these difficult times with austerity, and to try to manage it without adding.
As part of this agreement, as part of the maintenance agreement as well, that we maintain services at a level. I mean, if down the road it shows that we're not able to manage it, we may be back at the drawing board.
It may require adding to the budget, but we're trying to refrain from adding to the budget. Work within the budget that we have.
Does this mean that one of the schools is gonna be doing without, or several schools?
No,
or-
the idea that we had was to have one of the nursing positions at one of the smaller elementary schools where they don't have near the volume. They may have 1 to 5 nurse visits a day, or 6 or 7 nurse visits a day. Have one of them be the overseer, the manager of this program, and then our nursing director, who's currently at the alternative/career academy, also split some of her time managing this program. We did have a grant-funded position. She was over at the alternative site with Ms. Cole and was managing the grant-funded piece of it, but that money ran out, so we no longer have that position. And we did not ask the board to fund the position. So that's where we're at.
So we have a nurse at each school?
We do have a nurse at each school. And it is a challenge, and it is a concern. But,
Can you just report back to us how that's progressing as the new structure gets implemented? Just let us know that it's either running well or you need some help. So,
mhm. Yes, sir.
that's all. Need to vote?
We did. Yes, on the MOU.
Yeah, motion?
Motion right here.
All in favor?
Second?
Did they second it? I had a question.
Yeah.
All in favor?
All right. This time, that's all I have, Madam Chair.
How about you goes on that list?
The last number 9?
Oh, the number 9, all right, I thought when y'all made the motion to add it, you had approved it. All right,
So
so,
made the motion for the amendment.
all right, so let's vote on the industrial authority. Yeah, the addition of the industrial.
Yeah.
But prior to that, we do have this East Bluffs budget work that we wanted to get through if the board,
Which one we gonna do?
Number 7 first.
Okay.
I've got handouts here for you. Let's see.
Did you give them choice in there?
I think I gave, no, I didn't give them to you back there. Actually, had those handouts. You gave me, they might be on the table. back there.
Yeah, I think I saw.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it's on me. Go ahead and pull those up off people.
Wait, I like to talk to you before I go.
Yeah, here's the.
Just.
That's, you've got the first, that's the second sheet there. Mike, they've got, let's see if I've got copies of that first one. Here's the first one. You look at the sheet that has the green at the top, 2013 approved local option sales tax projects. You'll see a Roman numeral on the left-hand side. Roman numeral 1 is acquisition, construction, equipping, and furnishing of one or more new schools and other new school buildings and facilities. That was the ballot question. That was on the ballot. So if you go to Roman numeral 2, you'll see adding to, renovating, improving, and equipping existing school buildings. That was the second ballot question. So those Roman numeral items there, they were part of the ballot that was approved by the voters. Out beside each one to the right, you'll see a dollar amount that was budgeted. And that is that is based on this current eSplost earning $34 million. If you remember when we drafted the eSplost ballot question, we drafted it high with the hopes that the economy would grow and that we would see eSplost revenue increase, because you can only earn so much, and you have to put that dollar amount in the ballot question. So we put 34 million in the ballot question to show where we had budgeted that 34 million. All right, the second sheet, if you look at the second sheet that you have, that's a more precise budget, if you will. This sheet was crafted from a facility study that we did. We brought in a firm to look at our facilities and conduct a facility study approximately 2 years ago. And we looked at all of our school sites and crafted this priority project listing. And you'll see number 1 is a new 450 FTE elementary school at Nichols with an approximate cost of $6,336,000. Number 2 is a new Performing Arts Center at Coffee High School with an approximate cost of $7,920,000. And you'll see the 3, the renovations to Coffee High School, $5,875,000. I'm not going to read each one of those items, but you can follow down through 4. The ag barn, you'll see we tentatively budgeted $1 million for the ag barn. And then you'll see number 5, HVAC replacements at 7 campuses. Jimmy, I don't know if you've got a copy of this out there, but when we're talking about these HVAC replacements, we've got a dollar figure of $6,653,764.50. We were talking about this earlier, Jimmy. You can maybe provide some insight on that. If this is going to need to be wholesale work that we do all at once, or can this be kind of patch and replace as we move forward?
On the,
Because the reason I ask that is, if you look at number 1, we've committed to doing a new Nichols Elementary School. We're doing that. That was in the ballot. Number 2, the new Performing Arts Center, we're committed to it. That was in the ballot. Renovations to Coffee High School, we're going to earn about $2,600,000 from the state entitlement funding to renovate Coffee High School. It's 20 years old. It's got to be renovated. The ag barn, we're committed to that. That was in the ballot. That's the HVAC was kind of an area where I didn't know if there's some room to work there.
Well, my opinion, what we need to do with that is like Ambrose and maybe West Green and Indian Creek, not right now, but later on, we need to try to do them 100% of the time. That's where we come up with something like East Side and West Green, or West Side and Satilla, is we replaced part of those years back, and then we done some renovations. That's the reason you've got some new and some old. So, you know, some of those are going to have to be pieced. I mean, like West Side, we got some old units over there that's going to go out before the renovation units did. So, I mean, that's what we'll try to keep those going and replace to new if that's approved or whatever, and then we'll, but, you know, when we get to a point that they start breaking down more than they're staying working, then we need to go in, I feel like, and replace all of them at one time. You got the same warranty, and it's a lot easier for anybody to keep up with, you know, with what's going on.
The roof replacements at the 2 campuses, the east side, and then the Coffee High School. I had some questions about that. If that's, didn't we do major roof replacement at Coffee High School?
Coffee High School, two or three, well, we done the gym like a year earlier, and then about 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, we done the whole school.
Yeah.
Other than the metal roof.
Yeah.
The metal roof is still there. And that's part of what some of this money is for repairs or replacement on the metal roof. But we spent, what, $500,000 a few years back on the high school getting it completely re-roofed. Must have been 3 years ago now.
Question, Ms. Ward.
Yes.
Why can't we have all our facilities,
Huh?
you be metal roof?
Okay,
I
that's
would
what
say
I
it's
thought.
been like 4 or 5.
That way we won't have to worry about going and, putting no more roofing back on there.
Question was
Have what
metal
now?
roofs, have all facilities metal roofs? I would say 90% of them probably are. They're,
Pretty much they are. I mean, and you're gonna have problems with metal roofs just like you do any other roof, Mr. Johnson. I mean, they leak also. I mean, and the roofs that we've got like at the high school now and some of the school, like the alternative school, which I know it's older, but the rubber roof is a lot easier for us to fix and patch in-house. And the high school's got another probably 10, 12 years warranty on it.
the metal roofs, the screws back out.
Yeah, you got
Those screws over
backing
time, back out.
The
and the
building
water-
moving, I mean, on new construction, metal's good, but when you come in and start retrofitting, you get into very expensive.
Okay.
Debt service 7, and we see technology upgrades, school buses. We've got textbooks here, that includes band equipment. We committed back during probably East Plus 2, I guess, or East Plus 3, to do $50,000 annually towards band equipment. So band equipment is included in that textbook, item number 10 there. And I would say that textbook column, we ought to add software and instructional materials that are approved, that are SPOS approved also, because it may not just be textbooks, it could be instructional materials such as software and such as that.
When's the next scheduled textbook adoption period? Is that?
I'm not sure. We're not doing one this year. We don't have our instructional folks here.
Dr. Lees,
Yes, sir.
on that number 10, could we use, we have to use for textbooks, right? No other devices.
You can, they can be
Yeah.
downloadable textbooks.
Okay.
That's what, I had gone through this document just yesterday, and meeting Mr. Drahush and looking over this briefly, and I had checked item number 1, we know we're gonna do the new Nicholas Elementary School. Item number 2, we know we're gonna do the new Performing Arts Center. 3, the renovations to Coffee High School, we know we're doing. 4, Ag Barn. The technology upgrades, I'm quite certain over the next 5 years, we'll see needs for technology upgrades moving forward. 9, school buses, you know we're gonna need replacement school buses, and 10, the textbooks and instructional materials, including band instruments, you know we're gonna do. But, you know, quite honestly, the 11 and 12, I don't know how much of that we're gonna be able to do. I mean, we're gonna be limited. If you look at these figures, if you add up the ones I just mentioned, that's $28,676,800,
Well, I sat there
which
and
is about what we're gonna generate.
Yeah, I sat there and added up some of this stuff while we were talking, and we sit here and when we came out with the SPOS, and we, going by these numbers right here, we had $20,150,000 for basically new construction. And what we've got on this sheet is roughly, and like I say, I just kicked them out of my phone real quick, but about 15 million, a little more for new construction. So actually probably under budget on that. You get down here to the acquiring textbooks, band instruments, school buses, all that kind of stuff. You know, we had probably maybe 5-6 million there, and we're about 77,500,000. That's pretty close. Where we're way out of whack is on the renovating stuff. We got 8.1 million in here, and we've got about $25 million worth of stuff on here.
Mhm.
So that's where we're gonna have to sit here. I mean, the new construction is done. We're gonna do that. That was part of SPOS. That was part of selling this big thing to the taxpayers. The renovation stuff's where we're gonna have to be kind of tricky and make sure we do what we've gotta do and not do stuff just to do it. 25 million from 8 million, that's a heck of a lot different. Some things obviously have gotta be done, and those things need to be, we're gonna have to somehow prioritize what we do renovation wise.
Well, I wanted to present this, I knew at our retreat, when we went on our retreat, I gave y'all budget information and budget notebooks and the discussion turned to the new ag building and the Nichols Elementary School, and the question was asked about how much did we budget for the new ag building and the Nichols Elementary School, and this is what we developed as a budget for the ag building and the new Nichols Elementary School. So,
Yeah, and I'm fine with this list, I'm assuming this is a wish list, this is everything
Yeah.
we would like to get done, and that's fine. You know, I just, when you look at what we've got allotted, and what we've got that needs to be done, obviously that's an area that's gonna have to be watched.
Where does it look like we're gonna end up on SPOS 3? As far as,
what's
Any leftover or?
The remainder residual from SPOS 3 will be used for the West Green Gym for the most part. They're in fact trying to hold back spending any more SPOS 3. We've got a $2 million bond payment. We just wired the money today to cover that. It's due August the 1st, and to the bondholders, and then the remainder will be something in the neighborhood of between $800,000 and $900,000. And that's what we're going to need to work with as far as West Green Gym is concerned and renovations there.
West Green Gym will finish out SPOS 3.
Madam Chairman.
And this listing here was based on that facilities assessment, the walkthroughs that company did for us. In spite of our facilities being in great shape, in order to keep them the way they have been over the years, these are things that they're seeing. And they obviously realized as they went through this and compiled this list that based on what we defined to them in terms of new construction, and then the upkeep kinds of things like the HVAC, the roofs and so on, that this was going to go beyond SPOS 4 and what SPOS 4 was going to provide for us, and that's why that dark line is drawn there, because if you total up all of that, you get to a number and then balance that against your revenues, and you're not where anything below that line is going to be something you're going to have to deal with, depending on how much you can save up above.
And some of this, I'm assuming this is somewhat prioritized the way it goes down the list.
Yes.
Dr. Lees.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, may I?
Yes.
I'd just like to go down this list. I know we got to spend the money on project number 1, Nichols Elementary, the new performing art center. If we can save $1.5 million or $2 million right there, if we can save some money right in that area right there, I think, because I know we'll come way under budget. The first 2 projects is very important in the renovation of Coffee High. We save some money off of all that. Do you have a preference on, could you share with the public, the people that came in and did those presentations the other day? Could you just let the public know where we stand?
Yes, sir. We interviewed for the Performing Arts Center renovation and Coffee High School work, 4 architecture firms, Manley, Spangler, and Smith. They're out of Griffin, Georgia, for sure. They interviewed with the board, Also, Buckley and Associates, Greg Buckley and Greg Smith. Buckley and Associates out of Swainsboro and Albany. They interviewed with the board, and we also interviewed our local architect, Vic Suttles of Suttles and Associates, and he brought with him two architects from a firm that he's partnering with, Lyman and get the other parts of the
Davidson, Dooley.
Lyman, Davidson, and Dooley, who he's partnered with on this job. And then the fourth firm was Altman and Barrett out of Valdosta. So the board interviewed those four firms and looked at the pros and cons of all four firms and considered each one for this work. And we discussed as a board and narrowed it down to two firms that we're going to continue to investigate and to try to gain some more information about. And we hope to be able to name the firm that will do the work at Coffee High School at the July board meeting. Hopefully we can have that there.
Mr. Johnson, also under the renovation of Coffee High School, they were saying that we should get $2.6 million from the state to help offset the budget cost. Is that not correct?
That's right. Yes, ma'am. We've earned an entitlement. We've already made application for that and been approved from the state to receive $2.6 million in entitlement funding from the state for the Coffee High. So yeah, you're exactly right. You could back out from the work at Coffee High School, $2.6 million.
So is that including this 3.2 on projected revenue? So that's part of that.
Where's that?
On
Yeah,
phase
below,
five.
under projected revenue.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's already in there, Mike.
At the bottom, yeah, that's just the total of the available revenues that we expected.
But it's still added to what we were basing it on, isn't it?
On number 11, Dr. Lees, what is our needs there?
I can't think of it.
I can't even.
Number 11.
Maybe Buckley College, but.
I don't really have any needs to speak of it.
There's probably about, I'm talking about
Let's move on to the
$10,000
CrossFit.
maybe. Out there in that middle school, they need a couple little odds and ends, $10,000, something like that, but not anything close to that. No, nothing significant.
One-
Lights, shade
No,
cover.
they need a little metal roof put
Covers.
over, and out there where they keep all the equipment at,
Right.
mowers and all, need the
Right.
roof there.
Lean-to.
Yeah, lean-to stuff, not.
You know, Mr. Youngblood, since he's here, has brought to my attention the sprinkling of the band field and the practice field where at the high school that's inside of the track, that we're currently using a sprinkler system that's,
Using a traveling gun like irrigation, like a farmer's use. And it's the manpower that it takes, you have to move it every 4 hours to irrigate. Where if we could tie those in and sprinkle those fields with automatic sprinklers and tie them into the city water, you know, we could do away with the well system we're keeping up. Plus, to replace that gun's $18,000-$20,000, and you could just about sprinkle the fields for that amount of money. I think, you know, that's something that would be a labor savings.
They
And-
don't, does it water every 4 hours all day long?
No,
24
no.
hours?
All we have to water with it now is just the inside of the track and the band field. But every time, if you move it, if you go from the inside the track to the band field, a guy has to go over, hook it up, move it, pull it out, go to the well, start it up, and then, go through the rotation again, so it's,
There's a lot of coaches out there, they can rotate.
well, it's not a major
You gotta have something
project
to
or
do with it.
anything, but you asked, so Jimmy was here and I know he had mentioned it to me before.
Well, I got 3 guys that's trying to keep everything cut now, and they're doing that,
So it's the maintenance part that's having to go out there. I
That's
got you.
right.
Gotcha.
That's right.
All right, if there's any questions, if y'all have any questions about any of this, please feel free to call, come by, whatever, we can make some time to meet with y'all individually or however to discuss this SWAS budget with us, so. All right. And that should take care of everything on the agenda. The last item was the addition. We need to approve that number 9, industrial park.
We did.
Y'all approve that?
Yeah, it was kind of out of order, but we did it.
Let's make it official. Let's keep it on there. We put it at number 9.
But we amended the agenda.
They did vote on it.
Number 9.
Better put it on there.
You put it on there. So
So
you,
we need a motion.
Okay, let's just go ahead. Do I have a motion to approve the Industrial Development Authority to market the land in Broxton for us?
so moved.
All right, all those in favor? All right,
Thank y'all.
this meeting is adjourned.